So here we are where we left off yesterday, and yes, it is a big book. A lot of you have been talking about that. And listen, if you don't need one this big, size it down. I would base my size off of my pages, and that's what I did. I need a lot of room, and you guys will see this as we get to start filling this thing up. So I need a lot of room. Okay, so today what I want to do is I want to do some matting and flapping. I want to turn these into flaps because I need the real estate. So the idea for me was to be able to create extra pages here that will do this because I really need the space. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm also going to mat these inside pockets. I am not going to mat here yet because I really like these pages and I don't know how I'm going to use them. But I do want to mat these pockets because I don't want these big holes showing. There's nothing wrong with leaving these showing if you decide to, but I don't want to do that. So I need to measure the size of a mat, and this is a 6x6 envelope, so I know that if I do 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, I'm good. That's probably what I'm going to do, and yeah, because this kind of cuts in a little bit. I'm breaking it down a little at a time. That's how I do it. To keep from being overwhelmed, I'm just going to deal with an element at a time. So we're going to do these mats first. So now I'm going to mount these, and I'm just going to use ATG. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run ATG along that envelope flap there on both sides, because I'm not going to put adhesive on one side of the mat. So now I'm just going to put adhesive on 3 sides. This will make sense in just a second. Because if I put adhesive here, I'm just going to seal my envelope shut. So by putting it here, that will give this piece all the adhesive that it needs, and I won't have it in the wrong place. Learn from my mistakes. So see, this way I have a mat, and now I have a pocket, and it's not sealed shut. Okay, so I'm going to do that on each one of these. Let's do another one together. So I go ahead and I put adhesive here, just on the flap, then on 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. And then making sure that the part that doesn't have adhesive goes to this part of the adhesive. Then I line this up and stick it down. And I'm using the black because I want to have a pretty neutral background. So if I do leave any of these or whatever I decide to do, everything still kind of matches. Alright, so there's those two. And I'm going to open these up and do these. I'm going to do that through the rest of the album real quick. Alright, so I'm flipped back to the beginning and I want to show you what I just accomplished. I just went ahead and did these, which made these mats for me. Got a little adhesive there. So I made these mats, which also create large pockets. And because I have a lot of stuff to put in pockets, I'm glad these pockets are very roomy. So just want to show you everything I just did. That's what I just did. Okay? Not doing anything here. Now I want to dress the flaps. Okay? I really would like to have another piece. I told you I got a lot of stuff to put on. So I'm thinking I'm going to put another piece on these flaps. And that will give me 2, 4, 6. That'll give me 8 more places for real estate. So here's how I'm going to do it. So now I want to create flaps for here. I want to create them to give me some more real estate. As you know, I have a lot to put in here, and I've got pockets now, but I'm thinking if I make extra pages and attach them to these flaps, that way I'll have all this room and possible pockets. So what I'm going to do is I have 8 of these flaps because I made 8 envelopes. I'm going to make 16 pieces of cardstock in a 6 by 5 3/4. Here's the reason. I want it to be 6 inches wide, okay? But I need it to close and still be able to close. So if I made it 6 inches to here, that'd create some bulk and it wouldn't shut well. So I'm going to make this page go to 5 3/4, okay? So it'll be slightly shorter, but you'll still be able to get a good close. And then whatever tag you put in there, although it won't be able to have a tab sticking out, whatever you put in that pocket will work. Now, as we get started, if I decide I want to make this pocket shorter, this flap that's flipping over here, if I want to make it shorter, I can always trim it off later so my tags can show. But to save myself time in the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and make them all the same. So I'm going to do that real quick. So these are my pieces. They are 6 inches wide, 5 3/4 tall. Okay, I'm going to take one piece. And I want to show you this. Because I want this to be a pocket, I want to adhere this piece down to this piece nice and firm so that when I slide something in, this isn't in our way. Okay, so I'm just going to use ATG and just get very close to the edge, all the way around it, and here. Okay. Now then, I'm just going to adhere this piece down. Remember, your 6-inch wide goes this way, your shorter way goes that way. Now you do not want to adhere this over your fold, so look where your fold is. If you put this over the fold, you're going to have a hard time folding it. It'll create a little resistance. Okay, so now this is stuck down really well, so once that becomes a pocket, nothing will catch on it. Okay, now see how it's cut a little shorter? That was the point. So now we get a good close. If it was too long, it would interfere when you tried to flip your pages. Okay, so now we're going to turn this into a pocket. Now, controversy. A lot of people say you should use wet glue for pockets, and I agree with that, but I hate wet glue. I'm the worst with it. This album I'm making for myself, and I know if I make my tags too wide, they'll stick in my dry glue. But I'm using a dry glue and I'm gonna allow for that with my tags, because I'm the worst with wet glue, and I don't want to fight with it today. So, you do what you want. This is your album, right? And just make sure that your tags aren't too wide. And this way I don't have to wait for that glue to dry. Now a lot of you asked me yesterday where I get my adhesive from. Jamie from Punch Place Plus sends me adhesive, and I also buy adhesive from her. I love this adhesive, and I will always put a link below to it. There's also, if you're ever needing to find it and just can't remember where, there's a link on my blog straight to it also. Now notice I only put the adhesive on 3 sides. And I'm listening, I'm not using my X-Acto knife. I got reminded that is dangerous yesterday, so I'm going to use this pick and peel this backer off. Woo! And by just doing it on 3 sides, it allows me to have a pocket. Okay. So we'll take one more piece of the black, and we're going to make sure we're not adhering this part of the envelope to this side, because that'll seal it up. We want that side just stuck down to one side. And now we're just going to line this up even with that piece underneath, making sure you got your 6-inch on your 6-inch and your 5 3/4 on your 5 3/4 side, like so. And now we have a flap and a pocket. Now later, should I decide I don't need a pocket, I can always seal that up if I just want to use it like this. And also later, if I decide I want to cut this shorter so some tags can stick out, I can do that too. But this way, I'm kind of ahead of the game. So I'm going to go through, and just like we did with these mats, I'm going to create this very same thing on every single flap. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got. So we have this page, and now we have 2 other pages that open out, okay, to give us more room. We have pockets on the insides here, which are nice roomy pockets. And then every page has that same setup now, okay? So this is the fun part. This is when it starts to kind of get meatier. So each one of those pages is like that. And I want to show you, because I left 1/2 inch between the pages, I have plenty of room for bulk in there. Okay, let's talk about the front inside and the back inside. I want to make sure I have a pocket here because I'm going to want to put tags and stuff in here. So I'm thinking I may try to squeeze 2 pockets in here by doing a little layering. Now, you can always like pre-prepare your pockets and have them where they wrap underneath and all that good stuff. But I'm trying to make this kind of a build a mini, so it's like you can change up as you go, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I want to make a pocket for this area. Couple options. You can just cut a square piece of paper and then just glue it down, and then, you know, that's a pocket. But I need a little bulk, so we're going to do it with a little bit of an edge. So here's how I'm going to do it. First, I'm going to measure this. And this is 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. So I want it to stop at 1 1/2 inches, the top of the pocket. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2 inches tall by 6 1/2 wide finished. Okay, so let me write that down. So I've got 4 1/2 tall by 6 1/2 wide. Now the reason I want to write this down is because I want to add 1/2 inch to the sides and the bottom so I can create a fold under to give me a little room in my pocket. So because I want to add that, on this side I'm going to make it 5 inches because I only need this extra 1/2 inch at the bottom. But on this side I need an extra 1/2 inch on both sides, so I'm going to add 1 inch to make this one 7.5. This will make more sense in a second. So I'm going to cut a piece of paper 5 by 7.5. So this piece is 5 by 7.5, and now I want to score it at 1/2 inch on the 2 sides. So I'm going to score here at 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it over and do it. I'm using my small board, so I'm having to make this work. Oops. Okay, so there's 1/2 on that side. Then I want to score 1/2 inch at the bottom. So instead of 5, I'll come to 4.5 and score 1/2 inch down. Okay, but I'm not going to score the top. Now, if you want a decorative edge at the top, this is where you would use a punch and make some little decorative edge if you wanted to do that. Or if you wanted to do like one of the little half circles, you could take your circle punch or any punch. I'm going to use my hexagon. I think this makes a cute little notch. And I'm going to come to the middle, and I eyeball this. Y'all know I'm bad about that. I'm going to eyeball this and use 1/2 of my hexagon punch. Show you, see how I'm just lining that up like that, and punch. And that'll give me like a little lip for when I use it as a pocket. The other thing I want to do to this one is I want to miter these corners. Can you see which side can you see the score line better on? I'm not sure. But to miter, we're just going to run a angled cut across where these two meet. If I do this, you'll be able to see what I did there. That way when we fold these under, we won't have all that bulk. The angle you use is not as important as just getting that out of the way. Alright, so now we're going to fold these in. This is going to be the outside of my pocket, so I'm folding these inward. So see what that miter does? It still overlaps a little bit because, you know, you don't have a perfect angle, but it's nothing like it would be if you didn't do it like that. Then you'll want to burnish this. And the adhesive goes on these flaps on the inside. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and release this backing. Now I have our album inside cover back here, and we created this so that it can sit toward the bottom. I'm not going to put it all the way. I want some of that black edge to show. And sort of center it. Now the reason I like to do my pockets like that is because I get a little give. See how it doesn't lay perfectly flat? It's easier to get into because of the way we did that. I like to do them that way. If you wanted to, you could just adhere that straight down, but like I said, I like to have it. Now I'm going to do another one here, and we're going to do it the same way. We're going to measure where we want it to stop. We're going to add 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch to the sides. So we're going to do the same thing right here. So as you can see, I have another one made. Now what I did was I used the same paper but flipped it over because I knew that would match really well. This piece is 2.5 tall by 6.5 finished. That's after the fold. So the actual measurement for this one was 3 inches tall by 7.5 to give me the folds. Now this one is going to go exactly toward the bottom of the other one. I'll line them up exactly the same. And so now I'll have 2 pockets here that I can add tags or anything I want to. And I really like that. Now you can always go back and mat underneath here even after you've put your pocket. But I want to leave it black because I think I want them to show really well. So now we have 2 pockets on the front. Now my plan, because listen, I'm looking for space to store things because of all the cards and things I received, is to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the inside cover real quick. So while we're sitting here doing this, this is the second pocket I'm doing on the inside. I have a challenge for you guys. See these pieces that we always tear off and we have nothing to do with? Here's my challenge. Make an ornament out of them. Some kind of Christmas ornament. Show me something that you would do with them if you use them. And then post them to my Facebook group so I can see them. And maybe we'll do some kind of contest for the coolest idea or whatever. I think it'll be super cool to see what you guys do. Because I have so many of those that I throw in the trash. And I keep thinking, there's got to be something we can do with these. So there's your challenge, if you're up for it. See, show me what you can do with those. Alright, so now I have 2 pockets in the back, just like in the front. Now, I don't know if you remember me saying, but this area here is going to be able to be used for something too because I have plenty of room for it. And I'm going to create a flap down here because it's just a good place for it, so I can, you know, put tags or pictures or something right here. So what I'm going to do is measure that. And it measures totally 5 inches, so I'm going to cut something 4 3/4 by 6, but I'm going to double that. So I'm going to do 4 3/4 by 12, and then you'll see what I'm going to do there. So this piece is 4 3/4 by 12. I'm going to score it at 6. So I'm going to score it in half, like so, neatly, and burnish it. And now I'm going to round at the corners with my corner chomper. This is a We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. And I'm just going to round at these edges. Now this is where you have to do a little forward thinking, okay? I'm going to use a magnet to close this. And I can either put the magnet under here now for it to close like this, or I can wait and put it under a matte piece that I put on here. But because I may not matte this bottom piece, I'm going to go ahead and put my magnet down. And I'm going to do it just like I did before with some sticky adhesive. Just going to stick this here. And some of you asked yesterday in the comments where I get my magnets from. Also from Jamie. Her link is below. You'll be able to get those there. Then I'm just going to stick this guy in here. And I'll put another one on the top of it. And I'm using my wider adhesive so it kind of sandwiches it in there. I don't have to worry about the other side yet. I can put that on later. Now I'm going to put some adhesive here. And because this is going to be something that gets some use, some opening and closing, I'm going to use this thicker adhesive for it. Okay, so now I'm going to center this in this 5-inch area. Seal that down, sealing up that magnet inside. Just like so. So now when I get ready to close it, I'll mat this piece with the other part of the magnet and it'll close down. Let's do that real quick. So these pieces are 4 1/8 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to round the corners of them as well. Okay, and that's going to be what I mat inside of here so that I can put my magnet in this bottom flap. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up so you can see what I'm doing. So I've turned this a little funny so you can see this. But the other part of my magnet is this little piece of metal. And what I'm going to do is just put it here so I know where it's supposed to go. Okay. I'm going to put a little piece of adhesive on the back of it. Peel that up. Okay. So now I know that's where that's supposed to be. And now I'm going to close this flap and pick that piece up. So then when I open it, my metal piece is now where it needs to be on the opposite side. Okay, and now I'm going to seal it in with some of my bigger tape. And mat it. So I have all that adhesive exposed, and now I'm going to grab this little piece off of here, and that little piece of metal is behind it. And now I just want to make sure when I mat this that I sandwich that in there like so. And I'm going to go ahead and just ATG this piece. The reason I'm just ATG in this one is because this magnet is already sandwiched underneath, so it is perfectly fine. Oops, I slid that one too fast. Good thing I just ATG'd it. I'd have never moved that with the sticky tape. Okay. So now when this closes, it magnets shut. See that? Nice and closed. All right, very good. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We've done a lot today. We have matted. We have made extra pages. We've done pockets in the front and in the back. So we've done an awful lot. We're really getting there. And let's look at it from the side. It is starting to fill up. Wait till the other things get in it. That's where we're going to stop today. And then next time we get together, we'll keep working. I want to do something to this flap. And it'll be time to start dissecting our cards. Are you guys excited about seeing your cards be taken apart? I'm sure not. But anyway, here we go. There's our chunky mini, we're calling it. Thanks, guys, for hanging around on this series. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.